Hello everyone, this is VGC Mike, and we're back with a completely different type of video today. This is just a video I wanted to make to say thank you to everybody for me passing 1,000 subscribers. I'm not the type of person to scream and freak out, but I am really pumped about the channel finally passing 1,000 subscribers, and I'm really excited to continue the channel from here. So this is also going to be a little bit of like an update video, I guess, for the channel, and just talking about some things I don't always get to talk about, like what my inspirations were and why I created the channel in the first place. First of all, thank you everybody for helping me pass 1,000 subscribers. Really happy with how everything's been going. I especially really appreciate some of the comments I've gotten lately. Definitely feel very welcome and appreciated. So this YouTube channel was started about 2 years ago, a little over, and I've taken a couple long breaks since then. So the first thing I wanted to bring up was just that obviously starting a YouTube channel from scratch is kind of difficult. This was a bit of a learning process for me, and enhancing my content was a bit of a learning process. So a lot of the times when I was taking breaks, it was just kind of chilling out, usually after making a bunch of videos, looking at what I could have done better, waiting for a new regulation to drop, and going from there with some new ideas. From this point further, I do plan on keeping the channel pretty consistent. Obviously, there are times where there is more hype behind Pokemon and certain rule sets and new games coming out, and I tend to make more videos then because that's what people are looking for. But I do plan on, not leaving anyone hanging and taking like multi-month breaks or anything anytime in the near future. And if anything else, I plan on doing even more than I had before, and I'll talk about that shortly. So my experience with Pokemon overall, I've basically liked the franchise my entire life. I've played, most of the games in general, but I've definitely played like all of the mainline games. And basically my low point for the series was around X and Y and Sun and Moon. I did play them, but I honestly barely remember doing it. And I actually was like almost kind of not done with Pokemon, but like done with playing the games as they came out until Sword and Shield happened. And even when Sword and Shield and the Switch came out, I didn't buy the games immediately, but for whatever reason, when the Players' Cups were happening, became really fascinated with the idea of like competing in the online tournaments. And I basically bought a Switch and Sword and Shield immediately afterward, even though I had never played doubles battles like competitively ever. I had played like Pokemon Coliseum and stuff, but that was basically the extent of my doubles battles experience. I had played single battles like on Showdown and stuff like that in the past, and thought I was pretty solid, but you could tell Pokemon, the way they were progressing, cared less and less about balancing singles, so it became kind of less fun for me. Part of the reason why I was like completely fine with making the transition, I jumped into doubles battles during Sword and Shield, but with a pretty good knowledge of Pokemon in general, how everything worked. I knew all the mechanics. Nothing was completely new to me in any way, but besides like the new Pokemon, obviously. And then while doing that, while playing Sword and Shield and trying to learn doubles battle stuff, I found channels like Cybertron VGC and watched a lot of those videos during the Sword and Shield era. And then obviously, and because I have an art background, it just became really interesting to me to kind of document some of my own team concepts and do that in the similar video format. And competitive Pokemon itself has always been really interesting to me just because of the mix of creativity and strategy. I'm a big fan of strategy games overall. And like I said, I have a background in art. So the creativity aspect, like building your teams with all of these different options, and then the Pokemon themselves have all these different options and how you could build them, and coming up with unique ways to deal with certain counter Pokemon that give your team an issue, is what I really like about it. And that's why, if you take a look at this channel, every single team that is on the channel, every video that I've uploaded is a team that I designed myself. For me, that's a big, big part of the fun. So obviously I provide rental codes, so I think it's totally cool to use rental codes and feature other people's rental codes. But for me, that's what I really enjoy about it. That's what you're going to see on this channel is, teams made by me trying to do my best with them, battling with them. And that's how we've gotten this far. That's what I'm going to continue to do. With that being said, there are some other ideas that I'd like to try out on the channel. Still battling, still making my own teams, but I just want to try out some new things that I think will be welcome. So one thing I'd like to do, I've mentioned this in a past video, but I have a copy of Scarlet and Violet. One thing I really like to do on the channel and other people seem to enjoy is me just trying to ladder up as high as I possibly can. Easiest way for me to do that is to use like a single team I'm honed in on. But the only problem with that is that does definitely limit the variety you're going to see. What I'm planning on doing is to continue to try leveling up with Scarlet. You'll probably see me change teams every once in a while and just try to do the best I possibly can with the team that I consider to be my current best team. But then I was thinking with my copy of Violet, I could start doing like live streams and use some of my other teams, play around with some other ideas, and maybe even, find a team that I consider to be better than the one I'm currently using and cycle them out. I won't have to worry too much about my ranking. Obviously, I'm still going to be trying my best and trying to make the most competitive teams I possibly can. I do like to, try out some unique things and some different options, but usually I'm not too much for like super jokey teams or anything like that. So don't expect anything quite like that. More so just different stuff and a way to show other teams other than the one that I'm mainly focused on at the time. I'd also like to try out another format where I do like a longer video that summarizes like the concept for a team, how I came up with that, how I EV'd the team, why I EV'd the team the way I did, and kind of show the overall performance that the team had laddering. That's something I'm kind of working on now. First video will be on my Koraidon Lunala team. So look forward to that sometime in the near future. And look forward to some streams sometime in the near future as well. I've never streamed at all before, so I don't want to schedule anything immediately. I'm probably just going to do a couple impromptu streams. I know that's going to limit how many people actually end up joining, but the streams will remain up, so feel free to check those out if you're not available when they do go live. I'm just going to do that for my own personal experience of launching a stream and seeing how it looks and functions. Once I feel like I understand that and I can tell exactly how my computer and an internet are going to process that and making sure that they run correctly, I'll start scheduling them. I'd like to do those a couple times a week. In a lot of ways, streaming will make things easier on me and for some of my videos because I don't have to edit anything. And everything you see on this channel as of right now is done solo. So I play, obviously, my games, I edit everything, and any of the art or animations or thumbnails, they're all done by me. So it'll be nice not to have to edit for a change, but I do not mind that aspect of the channel. And like I said, I do have an art background, so that's part of the fun for me, is using some of those skills and telling stories and trying to make them engaging for you guys. But obviously, I can put out more content if I am streaming and if I don't have to edit once in a while. So a lot to look forward to, I would say, but we're not changing anything in a major way either. So if you're liking the content, if you're liking the style, it's all going to continue. We're just adding more to the mix, and I just want to keep making the channel better and better. And that's kind of been my philosophy for this since the beginning. Like I said, I've played Pokemon my whole life. So it was, when I started doing this, for me, I knew that the playing of the Pokemon wasn't going to be anything that would be super difficult. And if anything, I would just get better and better, which has been the case overall. For me, it was just figuring out how to make these videos engaging for you guys and getting better at talking and communicating my ideas. And I think that's all just been progressing. And I plan to continue to get better at all of these different aspects of this channel. So again, main thing for today is I wanted to say thank you to everybody for the channel hitting 1,000 subscribers. And then I did want to give you guys those updates that you'll see on the channel soon. Feel free to try to catch the live streams. I think YouTube does try to notify people a little bit more noticeably when people do go live, and I'll try to, put something in the post if I know I'm going to do it. But some of these streams I'm probably just going to start up once I feel like I have the time to do so, and just see how they run. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you again, and until next time, happy battling.